Hi guys, I'm Shmee and hello to you on a very cold and foggy morning from Aston Martin for episode 6 of my road to GT8. So in the previous episode, we saw the engine marriage, the moment the engine went into the car. Now today we're here early because the line gets started actually at 6:30 in the morning, but my car is going to be going through the sort of final trim sections. That means the seats go in, the wing goes on, all of these kind of good parts that make it start looking like a car ready for the road. Hopefully we're also going to see it all the way through to the first startup, the first time that V8 is going to roar through the titanium exhaust system. So this is going to be pretty awesome. Let's head inside and check out where the car is now on the line. We found the car again and it's looking good with the cobalt blue and the orange. So a couple of changes from where we left off before. It sat down on the ground on its own wheels, the 7-spoke satin black wheels with the orange brake calipers. Those are looking good as well. I can see around the front it's now got the two-tone carbon and orange grille installed just to bring that colour all the way through. It's also going to be found on the door mirrors when they get fitted and on the rear wing end plates as well, which we should be able to catch up with quite shortly. It's got things like protection, of course, on the headlights to make sure they don't get damaged between here and final build. But I can have my first proper peek with the camera inside the car. So the first bits of trim obviously installed the Alcantara dashboard, the leather of this sort of section with the orange stitch, the seat controls down there. It's going to have the sport bucket seats. This is really cool. Now before it got here, it had been floating up on the machines, bringing it around the production line. So engine marriage happens up towards the far end, and each sort of successive stage obviously has new components being added. Here, it has been being given the rear lights, so nice clear lights there, which go around the sort of carbon fiber piece that sits between them when the rear deck lid is down. Just insane seeing this coming together, seeing it being put together as a car and growing. Actually, it's quite fun to see the gear stick prior to the gear knob being attached and installed on top of it. So let's go find out what else is going on. I'm still dressed in my gear to give me sort of access to go around the factory and explore, but what we've got here are all of the parts for my interior trim. So everywhere we go, we can kind of find bits labelled up with my build number. So 700 represents GT8, 464 is my car. That's not the car number, it's number 120, but it's a way of finding the different parts. And if you look around here, we've got sort of the A-pillars, the Alcantara, we've got this part, which I believe is a speaker cutout, we've got the handbrake gaiter, part of the centre console with a little bit of orange trim here. This is the C-pillar, I think, for the back shelf. All of the floor mats, down in the drivers' and passengers' footwells. So there were even more parts like these, but those have already left to go to the car. They go down a different route. But basically, wherever you go, we're looking out for that number and finding various parts that end up on my car. It's just crazy to see it all before. I've arrived back just in time to see the wing being put onto the car. So the carbon fiber, visual carbon fiber wing, it will have end plates as well that will be mounted later on. But that's part of the sort of aero kit with GT8 that will go along with those splitter extenders when they're installed at the front, which is actually done as a dealer fit. So there'll be extra bits that stick out slightly here because of loading the car onto trucks and the like. That goes on later. But this is where I feel GT8 becomes the proper track car on which it's based. The Aston Martin Racing GTE car, the wing at the back, all these sort of parts like the cutaways here, inspired from the GTE Racing car, the car that has been very, very successful and won this year's GTE Pro. So this is an even more special machine than it already was. And we've got the end plates, so I've done these with Q. Customized them in orange. Normally it would be the same sort of visual carbon fiber as the end plate itself, but I wanted to have that matching along with these other orange highlights. All, just to sort of remind you, everywhere that I've got orange, it's separated by carbon from the blue. But how awesome is this? The doors are now being assembled, so they have to go through a whole series of electrical tests, and then there are extra parts that have to be fitted. And in fact, there's actually quite a long list. Those are all the different parts just on the doors. Those are my keys. Well, in that pouch is the glass key and the plastic key. But this is all done to test that everything works, the speakers, the mechanism, of course, and then it will go before the card is installed back over to the line where it will be fitted, and obviously the window might need adjusting. Oh, that sounded nice. The window might need adjusting on the car itself, so then the door cards will be installed, which is like a large carbon fibre piece that hopefully we will see in a moment. And here we've got it. So this is a full one-piece satin carbon fibre door card, and as an actual sort of item, it is awesome to behold. The finish is wonderful, and it's just had various components attached to it. So the speaker cover, the trim piece for the door handle that eventually sort of folds down with the Californian poppy interior and the orange stitch. I think that's a really cool touch. So yeah, that then will go onto the doors, which have now found their way down there towards where they're going to be mounted on the car. That will go on after the doors so that the window alignment's done. And yeah, done. This is the start of the embroidery of my seats. So one's being done there. We've got the second one here. You can see the orange Vantage GT8 logo on the headrest on the black Alcantara. All of the other sort of spare parts that make up both of the seats are here in this bucket. So there are a lot of different parts that are all sort of pre-cut and ready for this. But for a bit of fun, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to sign the back of it. Okay, don't want to get this wrong. It's been signed. This is the twin stitch being done, so the orange contrast stitching around the top of the seat frame there. Progress continuing with the sort of outside stitch. And it's starting to look like a seat. You can see how the central part will be velcroed in when it's mounted onto the frame itself. Time to start on the cover installation, and obviously the signed one is going on the driver's seat. It's now had a badge added as well, so that will obviously be pulled very, very tight around the entire frame of the seat. We saw this before already, but the back of this, the carbon fibre, it's all just awesome. The lightweight bucket seat with some electrical control. Just a little bit. That has to be pulled very, very tight around the seat. The cover's in place, the cushion goes in. That fits perfectly in. And then the backrest. And we're left with my GT8 driver's seat. Now this should be quite fun. I've signed the driver's seat, but I haven't yet signed the car. And I think the perfect place to do this is going to be right here on the driver's door sill. So this gets covered by a door sill plaque with a carbon fibre badge. So you'll see that when the car's completed. And I've got a Sharpie here, and I'm about to sign my future car. Okay, no pressure. I cannot mess this up. I've only got one opportunity. We're gonna do it right here. Let's give this a go. Tim Schmee, my car is signed. How cool is that? Time for the door, and that machine basically assists by holding the weight and makes this very easy. That comes around and gets mounted on at the front. Of course, there's some padding to help protect it there. But when that's in place, it's effectively going to look like an actually built car. It's kind of cool actually watching how that happens. And obviously this is the Swan Door, so it opens, it's hinged upwards anyway, which means it opens up over the curb. But it also gives a nice weight to it when you close the car, because the doors sort of drop down back into place on their own weight, which is nice as well. Wow. After the door goes the door card. So that's been connected in, all the electronics and the like. It's put into place. Looks good. I love seeing the orange on the inside with the outside as well. This is really getting close to being a complete car. We've got the dash illuminated as well there. So the insert on the carbon, the leather insert there installed. A little bit more of the orange stitching. But this is totally unreal. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for today. The car is effectively built, but it's the end of the day here in the factory. So now it will move forwards into the next bay, which is actually fueling. And I'll be coming back to the car later on when it's been through the next couple of stages. So it's going to go from fueling to have the seats, steering wheel installed, and then it goes down further on where it's going to be started for the first time. Now at the beginning I'd kind of hoped that was going to be today, but alas, didn't get quite that far down through the process, but we will be back to fire this up. And I can't wait for that, but seeing all of this process and being able to share it with you guys, I suppose, interested in seeing behind the scenes. I know I have been, so being here is utterly amazing. And potentially even there might be some other GT8 customers out there enjoying watching this and seeing what our cars are going through. But this is effectively now a built GT8. Like I said, it's going to go from here, seats and steering wheel, programmed, and then it will head down through sort of quality control and inspection further on, and then it will be fired up. So we're going to see it hopefully next time fired up, potentially into the geometry where it's all lined up, and then from there, at the end of the day, it will be going into the sort of rolling road and water testing and that kind of thing. So I suppose I should end it from there. You've got all sorts of sirens going off, just marking the end of the day. All the employees packing up for today. As the line is moving the final part into that stage of the process. Actually, do you know what? Before I completely sign off, I'm going to try and head round to the front and show you the last little bits of where it's at right now. So my hand's in a right twist with the with my camera right now, but coming in here, this is it. This is the future Shmeemobile, the Aston Martin Vantage GT8. It's part sort of 2 or 3, I suppose you could call it, of the build process. What an experience. Huge thanks to Aston Martin for making this possible. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We'll be back again, losing my words with excitement. We'll be back again for the final parts, but that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.